I don't know about you, but I never get tired of talking about sports, so I've decided to officially declare today Pirates Sports Day on The View from Hampton U. No, but seriously, at Hampton University, we take great pride in our athletics program. Today's student correspondent Brandon Theo Dorsey is going to give you an up-close look at two of HU's talented teams.
Welcome to the first edition of the Pirates Sports Wrap, your new home for all things Hampton University athletics. I'm Brandon Theo Dorsey. The fall seasons are in full swing and the Lady Pirates volleyball team has a head full of steam heading into the conference tournament. Under the new direction of head coach Karen Weatherington, the Lady Pirates have tallied an overall record of 14-10 while going 8-2 in the MEAC conference. The Lady Pirates are led by junior right side Vedula Strakova, whose phenomenal play this season has her ranked among the nation's top offensive player. She leads the nation in both points at 6.58% and kills at 5.2%. The Lady Pirates look primed to win their first MEAC championship this season here for Hampton University. We had a chance to catch up with Coach Weatherington and a couple of the ladies to get a take on the team's success so far this season. Take a look.
It's a huge feat. It's hard to protect your home court. And it's critical to protect your home court. So, and it was the emotion of senior night. You know, we had to be tough girls and remind ourselves there's no crying.
Well, to be honest, I'm excited to be senior finally, because when I watch girls how they're planning what they're gonna do after school and everything, it's just exciting. It's new kind of era of your life when you leave the college. So I'm definitely excited about my senior year, but I want to finish the junior year with the rings. So.
But yeah, it's always an emotional time when you go out and you know that you have the first time you have some players that are going to step on that floor. And the crowd came out, Pirate Nation was supporting, we had parents surprising, and we had great recognition of our seniors, and it definitely carried over into the day.
Yeah, the same. And so we both are juniors, and while all seniors were called out, we're like, next year. We are ready. We are ready. At the same time, we still want to have that other year to improve even more and just leave the best that we can.
It was definitely a confidence issue. We have so many things happening in October. You know, it's very standard in our sport. We call them the October doldrums, that all coaches in Division I, particularly that are in competitive situations, kind of find their teams lagging, the season's getting long. Your freshmen are hitting the rookie wall. In high school, their seasons are coming to an end. So that was a good wake-up call for us. And that's how it helped us. The hurt part was that that October happens and so do midterms, and you can't change that at this level. But I think we really faced it and really turned it around, and the adversity was a good challenge for us to get back and help us refocus.
I think we needed to lose, to taste how is it to lose the game, and now we can just win everything else, and we are excited to go for a championship and first of all finish the season, of course.
Yeah, I think the two losses we had, we learned from it. So it's good that we had it before championship, so now we can go in with a new confidence and just run a MEAC.
Wow, it's very important. It's the culmination of what we set our goals to do is, you know, win at home, be the #1 seed going into the conference. And it's so important for the confidence of the team.
I don't think in conference as a team that would be like better in skills than us. It's just about how we feel, how we play, how we are confident. So we usually just play against ourselves. So hopefully we will win the fight against ourselves and everything.
Yeah, we have built a new team chemistry, so it's a challenge to win MEAC with it, and I think that's what is going to lead us. I think it's working much better than last year. We tried it so hard last year. We were talking about it all over, but this year it's actually working, like in the practice
Less
and in
talking,
games.
more playing.
Yes.
You know, it's a game of runs and momentums. Volleyball just goes up and it goes down, and not only do you fight for points, but you fight for the atmosphere on the court, you fight for the camaraderie, and our team really knows. I think they feed off of my passion and I feed off of theirs. We put them in that pressure situation in practice where we tie the score up and it's all knotted up 1-1, and somebody has to win and someone has to lose, and then you have to earn a point extra. So I think we practice it. We practice celebration, we practice being exciting, and we add that into our skill, and it gives us a chance to be prepared when we're in a pressure situation. The pressure points of our team, I think when we get in those critical situations, that's where having someone like Viviana Fonseca just steps up. You know, everyone knows that Vindy's this great player, and everyone knows that we have great outsides and we're a strong offensive team, but her decision making in those critical situations just puts us in an advantage over a lot of other people. And that is senior leadership. It's a maturity and a competitive fire that she's probably had in her since she was really young, and she's been able to bring it out.
Hampton, of course.
Oh yeah, we flew it twice.
Oh yeah. I think it's
In their
pretty clear
house,
who is really
right, in their house, we swept them, and it was better result, 3 sets, and every single was like 15, 17, and now we beat them again. So. It's real legend.
It was tough up there. It was hostile. When we played up there in Bird Gymnasium, I learned my lesson about the rivalry. Sometimes you don't understand it till you live it, and so we did have the battle of the real HU, and we knew they were looking to return the sting when we beat them on their home court up there. So we came out on fire, a little bit hesitant sometimes, I think, just wanting to make sure that we were sticking with the plan. And they did a pretty thorough evaluation of Howard the weekend before versus Norfolk State or the night before. So we knew we were in for a tough battle, and I think our team really showed its character.
Like last year, I feel nobody even know that we have a volleyball team in school. So this year, it's awesome when we come to the game and actually somebody comes, even if it's Sunday afternoon. Usually nobody wants to come for the game, but people are coming and they're cheering for us and they really live with us. So it's really nice to be recognized for something what you do.
You know, I'm just so happy to be a part of the Pirate Nation. It's like, I know it's the home by the sea, but now it's my home by the sea. So I need everybody to support us all the way through the season, and we're hoping to bring home a trophy.
And now they actually expect, they're like, oh, come in, and like, yay!
Yeah,
like
we're
it.
enjoying that.
One more year of it.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna get better and better.
Right.
Of course. Well, congratulations on the season so far, and good luck in these next 2 games and in the MEACs. We'll be right here rooting for you.
Okay.
The Lady Pirates will travel to Dover, Delaware for a match Friday, November 8th against the Lady Hornets of Delaware State before facing the Lady Eagles of Maryland Eastern Shore to close out their regular season. The 2013 MEAC Volleyball Championships will be held November 15th through 17th at Coppin State. Come out and support your Lady Pirates. When we return, we'll take a look at how the Donovan Rose-led football team has fared so far this season. Come back with us.
The View from Hampton U, bringing you in-depth interviews, cutting-edge research, amazing sports highlights, faculty and student profiles, and much more.
I'm Stephanie Sutton,
And I'm Joseph Walters.
and you're watching The View from Hampton U.
Welcome back to the Pirates Sports Wrap. The Hampton University football team stumbled out of the gates, amassing an 0-5 record, the worst start since the 1992 season. They looked to turn it around during the bye week, shuffling around some position coaches, changing offensive coordinators, and maybe even most importantly, naming freshman Brian Bailey as starting quarterback. Bailey's size, coupled with his athleticism and accuracy, has helped propel the Pirates to 3 straight conference victories. Alongside Bailey's strong play, the versatility of junior Joreen Washington. He gave the Pirates energy and a big jolt of it. The defense was led by the strong play of senior safety Carvin Johnson and the emergence of sophomore defensive end Miles Grooms. The streak came to an end after a tough 30-27 loss against the Bears of Morgan State University. The Pirates currently sit in a tie for 4th in the MEAC Conference, holding a 3-6 overall record, but a 3-2 conference mark. We sat down with Coach Rose after the Pirates' tough loss. So we're sitting here with Coach Donovan Rose, head coach of the Hampton Pirates football team. Nice to be
Nice meeting you, guy.
here with you on the Pirates
Appreciate
Sports Wrap.
Appreciate
So we'll hop right into it. How did you kind of keep the team morale up after the 0-5 start that we suffered this year?
Wow, that's a tough question. But I know, again, I think after about the 3rd game, I went to our offensive staff and I started meeting with them, and I just realized that, you know, we weren't going in the direction that we wanted to go, and I just knew that, you know, a change was near, and you know, and so once we did that, and you know, we couldn't go out and get new guys, but we were able to just kind of shift some guys around, and you know, I got my my coordinator, my special team coordinator, moved him to offensive coordinator, and moved a couple other guys and shifted some guys around, and then they saw, you know, because I knew that we had the talent, it just we hadn't found it yet, and we didn't know how to, you know, how to win and how to finish. And because of that, we were able to do that. And I think from the first practice we had when I made the change, I looked up, you know, just a true story, I looked up and said, thank you. And I knew that we were on the right track. And, you know, we've been looking back, haven't been looking back since.
Right. Did that happen before the first win y'all had?
Yeah, it did. As a matter of fact, after we were 0-5, and I had we had a bye week, and I had practice. And after that first practice, I knew that, you know, that was it. I mean, and it just kind of laid things for me. And I'm not taking credit for that. It was just something that intervened that inside, and I knew I had to go another route.
All right. And how big was you spoke on Coach Villagrana moving him from special teams coordinator to offensive coordinator? Yeah. How big was that change for you? How did that?
Mike was one of the candidates in my mind. I thought about it because I had a couple of coaches remaining, but Mike was doing such a great job on special teams. I didn't want to, you know, change that. You know, I don't know if I was selfish, but I didn't want to change that. But the whole time, once I realized the direction we had to go, you know, Mike was always very energetic, you know, high intensity, you know, you know, kind of excitement guy, and first one here, last one to leave, put the work in, and so I knew that Mike was was right under my wing. I knew he was the guy, and so, like I said, now he's done a great deal, and he's just made a big difference. I think it's kind of like a domino effect to everybody else, because you know that excitement. I mean, you know, right now. Very seldom is, you know, this is a quiet day. If you don't hear him down the hall, but this is a quiet day.
All right, is he's a big personality out here? I know I talk.
Yeah, he's probably, like I said, he you know, once it's quiet and the bell rings, you know, he's just nonstop, you know, and so he's just constantly like a motivator and pushing the guys, and then I have other guys who are like that as well, that kind of took off his personality, and so, you know, it right now it's really. It's been great, you know. We've been 3-1 since then, and should have been 4-0, but that's another story.
Well, let's talk about, I guess, one of his major weapons in the offense, Jordan Washington. Can you talk a little bit about the versatility he brings?
Yeah, that was great. Jordan, you know, we recruited Jordan back, I guess, about 3 years ago, and we brought him as a running back. And what happened when he got here, we had other running backs, and so to get on the field, we put him at wide receiver. And the only thing was, you know, he wasn't getting as many touches because wide receiver, maybe a couple of balls thrown or whatever. And so, but, you know, we knew he was a player, and we ended up last year, he was third in the nation on kickoff return. And so we know when he touches the ball, he would get it. So as soon as Mike came over, you know, I had already in the back of my mind that said, you know, well, what about Jordan? What about putting him back there? And, you know, under the old regime, the other staff, you know, he wanted him at receiver and this and that and so forth. But anyway, long story short, as soon as Mike and we sat down, I said, Mike, now that we're in this position, you know, what if you get this, what do you want to do? And we just talked about everything, and we decided that we need to put him back at running back. And 4 games later, I mean, right now he's the past 4 games he's got over 400 yards rushing. So I think that was probably one of the best moves we made.
Right, definitely a good move if he's making that kind of production on the field. So another person that might have shocked you, you know, usually when you put a freshman quarterback into a new offense, you know, you're not expecting him to excel. Is the play of Brian Bailey kind of shocked you a little bit?
Well, we knew recruiting him again. You know, Brian Bailey, he looks like a boyish high school guy. He looks like a freshman. You know, if you saw him, he's not real loud, you know, so you would think he was just an average guy. But, you know, he's an average guy on the look, but internally, you know, he's a player. I mean, he's got a great arm. He can throw it. He doesn't look like he runs as fast, but he can run. And, you know, being a quiet guy, but he's also a natural motivator. And one thing we got to get him more, we want him to run more because, you know, he doesn't look like he can run, but he actually can go. We played Morgan last week, and Jordan ran a long touchdown. I don't know if you saw that, the 80-yard touchdown, but it was a lead blocker in front. It was him. He was running 80 yards in front of Jordan. You know, he didn't hit anyone, but he was running in front of him, leading the way. I mean, so, you know, he's a talented guy, and he has a great demeanor. You know, he's not like a typical freshman. And so, he's just going to get better. He's only played 4 games, so he's going to get better. He didn't have the luxury of having a spring practice or a summer. We got him, doing camp. So basically, he's only going to get better each week.
And you mentioned the 80-yard play against Morgan State. What happened there? I mean, you remember the first half of that Morgan State game? It didn't look like you guys were really bad.
Yeah, and I think on that hindsight, we just beat Delaware State 30-7 or something like that, and guys had shut guys down and what have you. So I think our guys probably didn't look at Morgan as much as they would look at Dale. And Morgan came out, and Morgan made plays. And we helped, but Morgan had 4 big plays in the first half, and all of them resulted into touchdowns. They had the 2 long runs, they had a kickoff return, a missed tackle on a hitch, and before you know it was 23-7. But I think it woke us up, and we went in halftime. Nobody's head was down, and we know we got excited, got fired up, and we knew we was going to get the ball. And and Jorian is a playmaker, and he got the ball, and he shot through the gap. And once he gets through an open space, it's over. So I think what was happening in the first half, we're trying to run wide and what have you. And, they were kind of getting him at the pursuit, but once he shot through the gap and there's one man in front of him, you're not going to tackle him. And so, 80 yards later, he was running in the end zone.
Right. And so you think it was more of a focus thing in the beginning of the game?
I think the biggest thing is that I think we, as a whole, the players, whatever, didn't take it as strong as they should have. And I think Morgan came out with a must-win attitude kind of deal, and they made the plays. They came out and and like we have, but they made 4 big plays. And normally we haven't given up big plays. And so I'm talking about 50-yard runs. We haven't done that. 50-yard runs here, 50-yard runs here, 93-yard kickoff. That had never happened. And so I think it kind of woke us up halftime.
All right. And then to some of the students, because some of the students out there are like, oh man, they lost. They're back to the losing ways. They were getting kind of hype off the 3 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you have to say for
No,
those fans?
right now we're still the same team that they saw, that they thought they saw. And so right now I can't wait to get back, but I feel real good about this upcoming game. And you'll see. And I told a guy, I said, I don't want just to win. I want a convincing win. But right now everybody has to do their job. We keep preaching that. I know it sounds kind of obsolete or whatever, but you just have to do your 1/11. I mean, in every play, everybody has a responsibility, and if you do it, it goes well. And so in this game, if 10 guys do great and 1 guy doesn't do his, and it comes to him, it's going to be a touchdown or a big play. And so that's what we learned from that. So I've been preaching 1/11th, 1/11th, 1/11th every day, and so I think they know. And so right now, we can't control our destiny now. The only thing we can do now is win out and let everything take care of itself. But I think I can handle these last 7 games being 6-1.
All right. And then coming off a loss, another thing that's big is senior leadership. How big do you think Carvin Johnson, your safety, will be in these next couple games?
Yeah, he's big. I mean, because, those guys now, they know, and some of them have aspirations of going to the next level. And I think Carvin will get an opportunity. I don't know if he get drafted, but I think he'll get an opportunity. Somebody will look at him. I mean, he's really, you can replace everybody, but replacing leadership, that's something, that's almost like a Michael Jordan kind of deal. Somebody that makes others around them better. That's what he did.
And then last thing, I know you don't want to look too far ahead, but obviously last home game is going to be the Howard game. You've played in it as an athlete. You've coached it. You've been dealing with Hampton football over 20 years.
Yeah.
How big and how important is it for y'all to get this title back?
That's big. I mean, I think Howard, they won the last 2 games, and I think the first one was 7-10. I forgot what last year was, but the bottom line, I remember him when he won it, and he was jumping up like they won the Super Bowl, and they threw water on his back, and I remember all that, and it was on our field. And so right now, again, I've been here, like you said, 20-some-odd years, and I think Howard may have beaten us out of the 20-some years 3 times, and 2 of them were the last 2 years. So it's important for us to get back and get it in the real HU. I mean, that's fine. They get everybody hyped up, but they're coming on to us, and we got a chip on our shoulders, and I've got one on mine, and so I don't care who it is. We're gonna go to battle. And, they're going to be scrappy and all that kind of stuff. But, we just got to take care of our own. And so I think if we can just get better each week and getting a domination, our theme, building a dynasty of domination, we haven't really, A&T might have been the closest to that, but or Dale State. But, we haven't had a dominant type seal yet. And I think it's good for our guys to see that. And like I said, I got three freshmen, 7 sophomores, 6 juniors, and we're losing 6 seniors as starters. So, you know, I got 75% of my guys coming back, and I think they're just going to get better.
Of course. Well, thank you again for your time, Coach Rose.
All right.
Again, Brandon Theo Dorsey with Coach Rose on the Pirates Sports Wrap.
All right.
The Pirates return home on Saturday, November 9th to face off against North Carolina Central University. Following that game, they will head to Daytona Beach, Florida to meet up with the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman University before returning home for Senior Day and the annual Battle of the Real HU against the rival, Howard University.
We'll be back with more from the Pirates Sports Wrap in a moment.
There was an article where proton therapy was referred to as the holy grail of cancer treatment. I could leave my office, have the treatment, and drive back to work in about an hour and 10 minutes.
The Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute is treating prostate, brain, and other cancers with the most precise form of radiation treatment available.
It was almost too easy.
If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with cancer, call the Hampton University Proton Therapy Institute today.
Now, the moment you've been waiting for, the top 10 plays of the day. Roll them. Number 10, defensive back Aaron Matthews lays the wood on this unexpected Morgan State receiver right here. Boom, right there. Give it a little dance, Aaron. Nice job with the hit. At number 9, we have Kimbrough McGee showing outstanding ball skills in the end zone. Get this interception for a touchback in the Battle of the Bay. Little point to the crowd. Number 8, we have Christian Faber-Kinney showing a little trickery. ESPNU, you take it from here.
Realizes if you've got daylight and room to run, take off. And that's the big play that Hampton's been looking for. And now all of a sudden the game that South Carolina State has been in control of from start to finish. Now if Hampton...
At number 7, a game-clinching interception by Denzel Heath as he takes the ball all the way down to within the 20. And you see him make a little move there, but he gets tackled. That sealed the game for the Pirates with a nice win. At number 6, Faber-Kinney makes a return to the top 10 with a 35-yard pass to Kimbrough McGee against South Carolina State. Another big one up the sideline, another 4th down conversion for the Pirates in that big game on ESPNU. At number 5, we have Leon Shorter, who makes the huge grab right here over the defensive back at the Battle of the Bay. We used to call that mossing back in the day. Great job, Shorter. Nice little celebration. At number 4, more Battle of the Bay action. I don't know how TJ Mixon came up with this one, but you can see it for your own eyes. Nice touchdown catch by Mixon. Number 3, normally you do not see a kicker on the top 10, especially on a kickoff, but Anthony Prevost is not your average kicker. You see him right here come up with the hat trick as he first makes the huge tackle on the kickoff, boom, forces the fumble, picks up the fumble, that's a hat trick, 3 for 1. Anthony Prevost, big play right there, see him huddled around by his teammates, great job by the kicker. At number 2, they nicknamed Hughes Stadium at Morgan State the Den, but Antoine Chisholm says, this ain't the Den, this is my playground. Boom, makes number 42 miss. Another juke right here is coming up. Another one, 2, 3 defenders, 4 defenders miss as he's marching down. Another one, 6 defenders. Morgan State's looking like some kids out there.
Today was an emotional point for me, and to have them to rally around me and be able to speak to them directly about what goes on when this situation arises in families. You know, they stood fast for me, and so I'm really happy to, you know, have them as all my team and my daughters.
Number 1 speaks for itself when the Lady Pirates volleyball team turned the annual Battle of the Bay into much more than a game when they dug pink for breast cancer awareness.
Big pink movement was something that was started in volleyball, so you'll see it across the country in high schools and colleges and clubs.
Thanks for tuning in to the first installment of the Pirates Sports Wrap. Be sure to join us as we bring you more news, notes, and updates on everything Hampton University athletics. And remember, we are Hampton.
You can look forward to seeing more sports highlights on the Pirates Sports Wrap on The View from Hampton U this season. Visit www.hamptonpirates.com to learn more about Hampton's athletics teams. Next week, join us for a visit with the Department of Architecture. We'll see you soon.
Join us next week for another exciting episode of The View from Hampton U.